Finally, it's time for the Ultimate Pokemon Unite tier list coming from me, Blaines, who has played a number of games. Let's look at my stats before we do this so you can see where all this information is coming from and how credible it is for your purposes as well. So for the purposes of this list, I'm hoping it's going to be of benefit for a lot of you people who play and are wondering what the best Pokemon to go is, how you're going to be able to level up. Let's have a look at my profile right here. Now, I've played a ton since this game came out, and my battle record stands right here at 1,848 games played. I've played every Pokemon, almost every Pokemon through and through, all the updates as well. And I have a 53.4 win rate. It's getting better, okay? It's getting better. You know what solo queue is like. Almost all of my games have been solo queue. Almost all of them. And I've gone up and I've gone down, and here we are. So let's get through this. The current update means a lot of new Pokemon are really strong, but I'm hoping to try and give you an impression of lasting endurance or lasting viability of different Pokemon so that you can choose them no matter what the update may come, right? So we're going to look at things that are like damage is going to be one big focus, and survivability is going to be another big focus as well. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so this is our tier list right now. Without, wasting too much time, let's get through it, okay? So, first one's first. We are definitely going to do the broken one first, because there's only really one Pokemon that is broken, and by broken, I mean has incredible mobility, can get across the map really quickly, has incredible survivability, incredible killing power, and none of the updates have made it worse. Let's have a look. You guys know what it is. It's Lucario. He's going to be the only one in the broken tab because, oh my god, dude, this Lucario, you have to have a Lucario on your team. If you don't, you're at an immediate disadvantage if the other team does. Lucario has an incredible shield which can be buffed by using attack weight and scoring 6 times. Your shield will just be bigger. It's his default passive ability which will happen and trigger when he gets down to half HP. He just gets this giant shield. As well as if you couple it with score shield too, he's going to be unstoppable when he scores. He can get across the map, half the map in 4 seconds by using his own moves, and he just keeps going. He has crowd control with his moves, knocks you up and pushes you around, and he has teleports with his moves, which makes him really hard to hit and counter attack when he's attacking you. He's busted, so he is broken right there. He's going to go up the top in that red rank right there. Next up, we're going to go for the must-have Venusaur. In the current update, Venusaur is incredible using Petal Dance and Giga Drain and has incredible survivability and incredible AoE damage. You must have this on your team. If you don't and the other team does, you're going to be at a disadvantage, but if you do have it, you're going to be able to do a lot of work. It's going to carry a lot of the damage in the team, so you gotta have it. Greninja is a must-have, and interestingly enough, Greninja was actually nerfed a few times in all of these different updates. He's actually incredible still. His health was nerfed, his damage wasn't really hit that badly, and he still nails it, dude. He still carries one of the top damage dealers in any team. You gotta have a Greninja. It's just, you just have to. Alright, so there's gonna be more than 5 must-haves, I believe, maybe, including the broken. So you can choose what you're gonna go for, because there's so much to have and so much carrying these can do. Greninja's definitely still in there, has great teleporting, has good moves, has great range and great damage, a lot of crits, no health, sadly, so you gotta be able to play carefully, but definitely worth having on your team for sure. Cinderace is another one, definitely huge. It's got buffed again. It was already really strong back before a couple of updates ago, and that was with a different moveset. Now people are running Pyro Ball, and Pyro Ball just murders. It just has incredible damage, and he has really high attack speed, including crits. Again, another squishy, so you do have to play with him carefully, but of course, the benefit of these two, Greninja and Cinderace, is they're ranged attackers. You can easily keep your range, you can keep your positioning very well and very effectively with these two. So looking at Cinderace right now, and one thing he really has that goes for him very well is his ult has a very strong potential to steal Zapdos and steal other NPCs as you need them. Very strong suit of him. You can actually just sneak up into the top of the grass, hide there, and steal the Zapdos if the rest of your team lose the fight. I'm going to throw a Alolan Ninetales in here too. Now, if you guys don't know, Alolan Ninetales is actually my main. I haven't played Alolan Ninetales in like over a month, I would say, but still has the most games on her, and the updates and all that stuff have not broken her at all. There was a glitch once that was fixed. Her passive ability, which drops a snow or ice thing in an area, actually affected areas of grass where enemies were hidden. That no longer works, but that doesn't matter. This Pokemon with Aurora Veil, it has a really great strength and AoE support for the whole team. Well worth having, a must-have on any team, especially organized teams. So you gotta bring it in an organized team. Solo queue is so-so because you're gonna kind of be relying on teams to be aware of what you're doing and be able to stick together and so on. That's where Alolan really shines, is putting up the Aurora Veil to reduce damage on all teammates, increase damage for her own boosted attacks, which has incredible range and piercing too, as well as a big hitbox. Well worth it. The next must-have is Wigglytuff, okay? A new support character, extremely, really strong. Just everything about it is busted. Its charm ability interrupts moves when it's being attacked, and for example, if you take Venusaur's Razor Leaf at the beginning when he's a Bulbasaur, if you attack a Jigglypuff with Razor Leaf, the Razor Leaf just gets cut off right at the beginning because charm kicks in. It's so broken that you'll be interrupting so much moves, negating a lot of damage on your team. Then it has Sing. Sing can be used for incredible mobility, moving around the map, as well as putting the enemies to sleep and disabling them for quite a long time, and it has incredible defense, special defense, and HP, making it extremely bulky. The survivability as well as its crowd control makes it very worth it. It actually slaps pretty hard as well with double slap. Alright, let's put in the acceptables, which are actually pretty good. They range from pretty good to have to pretty mediocre. It will depend on what you're thinking. I'm gonna go, actually, you know what? We're gonna remove him. We'll have something for him later. Talonflame definitely goes in there. All of these guys really do go in here. They're actually quite viable, honestly, and Blastoise is still extremely viable since the last update as well. Honestly, if you have seen my new video with the Sylveon, you should. It's in my YouTube. You can check it out. I'll even leave it at the end of this video for your convenience, so you can just click into it. I'm going to put him in acceptable. Now, I've seen all of its moves in action. I've seen how much damage it does, and I've read the descriptions and all that. I'm going to put it in acceptable for now because that's how it looks. We're going to continue with Machamp here. Pikachu is actually a glass cannon, absolutely hugely viable. So that leaves us with a couple of Pokemon left. But just some last comments on the acceptables, guys. These are some really incredible Pokemon in here depending on situations. That's what I mean by acceptable. If people are taking it, you should be thinking, oh, that's okay, that's fine. If they can play it well, then we're gonna do well, okay? And of course, Eldegoss. Mr. Mime hits like a truck. The Eldegoss has the AoE heals, huge crits on Absol, but very squishy. Talonflame is being hugely buffed now, extremely viable, but still can get killed. Unless the rest of your team is helping, that's not gonna pan out. Charizard, a bulky all-round, pretty good. Great CC on Cramorant here. Zero Aura, still huge as well. Still does a lot. Actually could, I was debating on where I'd put this, must have or acceptable, but honestly I think I'm going to make it acceptable because it's still really nice to have it. Blastoise, despite the nerf, still very good to have, still does quite a bit of damage, but the nerf is a huge downgrade. Like I said with the Sylveon, do check the video so you can see how it performs. Machamp, I love Machamp, one of my most favorite Pokemon to play. Just seems to be lacking. There are just better options out there. And Pikachu, an ultra squishy but ranged attacker, really great glass cannon. That's what that is. Now for the risky guys. The risky is you should be a little worried if people are taking them in this meta, okay? Clefable doesn't even exist in the game yet, but that may be coming. And, you know, here we go, and this. Okay, so, Mamoswine is one of the new ones. He does no damage. That's his problem, but he has a lot of CC, and he has some pretty cool grab moves. I like Ice Fang on him, which can pull a Pokemon out of their base and push them really quite a distance into your own team. Really valuable. Does a little bit of damage, but not enough at all. So if people are taking Mamoswine, it's man, if the other team doesn't have a Mamoswine or doesn't have something that's lower than acceptable, and you do have some of these in the risky section, you're already at a disadvantage in my opinion, and this is from my vast experience in playing all these games. Blissey is okay. It's gonna really depend on having an organized team. You can get some heals off. The heals are not really enough to compensate for the damage an enemy team can do, and Helping Hand does work quite well, but do your teammates use it well? That's the question, and it's just so-so. Alright, it's just so-so. Very risky to take that as well. Not enough damage coming out of it. Gardevoir does a lot of damage, but it's so squishy. It's one of the most squishy Pokemon in any situation. It can be two-hit by almost anything, and its moves have very limited mobility on them. Like if you're talking about where you plant down the 3 big areas of damage, that's controlled by where your movement is. It's always going to stay in a certain line, and that's not really that useful. It's quite restricting for this Pokemon, considering how weak this Pokemon already is. Its ult is great, but it's so weak that it can be killed out very, very easily before the fight even gets carried out. So Snorlax, looking at Snorlax, still quite okay, but definitely so many better options to go than Snorlax now. It's just not good enough anymore. It has some crowd control, but it's just a sit and duck in most situations unless your team is doing a lot of work. It'd be more valuable in a 5-stack, but in most games, 3-stack or solo queues or anything like that, it's not gonna be great. It's gonna be kind of a waste of a slot. Gengar too. Gengar has been mega nerfed. If people are going Gengar, you're not keeping up to date. It doesn't get a lot of work done anymore, and again, it's also really squishy. Got an incredible ult, but the ults are so, they're not used enough these days. Like, they don't come up enough. Maybe you can get 3 in a game max, and that's not a lot. Like, the ult can be used quite flexibly to escape situations or go to score, which I think is really powerful. You can score a full 50 and they won't even be able to see you do it until the ult is over. But as for doing damage and helping the team and support and stuff, it's not doing much there, I gotta say. Alright guys, we've reached the end here, and we're gonna talk about the final rank here, which is definitely gonna be this, and this. And I'm gonna explain why. Now, Crustle, I feel, is an unfair Pokemon to play. It is actually, I wasn't sure, like, this is a weird one. I wasn't sure if I should put it in broken or in you're bad and you should feel bad. Crustle is basically the coward's way out. It is a cheat Pokemon. It has infinite health, it has infinite mobility, super speed, and it's just unfair. It's made to play the game the way the game is not supposed to be played. This is a team game. You're supposed to have strategy and play with the game, but people going Crustle more often than not just rely on the overly bulky, overly mobile Pokemon, and they use it as an escape route to just not have to play the game properly. They just go off and do their own thing, and that's all they can do. And then someone from the other team, very few Pokemon from the other team can actually stop it. Luckily, with the most recent updates, that's no longer as much the case as it used to be. But Crustle is just the bad player's way out, in a sense. Now, you can play it well, it can be quite viable, but that's why it's a debate on whether it's here or it's here, alright? Because, honestly, I don't feel like it fits in broken anymore, because all of these must-haves can kill it. They can all kill it, and most of these can solo it, alright? So Greninja, Cinderace can solo a Crustle, even Talonflame can solo a Crustle in these situations now and keep on it and kill it. So, and look, of course Lucario can do a lot of work on that. But Crustle is too many escape routes. It has the infinite running away move. It can steal NPCs, steal Zapdos with Stealth Rock, which does an inordinate amount of damage, incredible damage. Its ult is busted already as well, and of course it did have a bug that allowed you to spam the ult, which everybody abused up until it was fixed recently. Looking at Garchomp, Garchomp is a sad case. Garchomp is a fan favorite. Garchomp does no real strategy in the game. Now, he does a lot of damage, but most of his damage comes from his basic attacks, which can become increasingly sped up as you do them and you have the 5 stacked bars underneath your health. That's going to be very, very useful, but that's all he does. That's all it is. The rest of his moves are very so-so. There's not really any strategy, not really any crowd control you can get with him, and it all depends on you just being able to stand there on the enemy and attack them, which is not so much the case in most games. You're being controlled, you're being pushed around, you're being nerfed, frozen, whatever, dude. You're being all sorts of things, and that's Garchomp's weakness. That's his big downfall. Another big one is, of course, how late he evolves. A lot of players are worried and timid about playing into the game and committing to team plays until they're fully evolved at certain points of the game, and they might just spend too long farming NPCs, not getting anything done for the entire duration. There's going to be a lot of games that people pick Garchomp that's going to be a 4v5. They're basically not going to be committing and not going to be with the team at all. They're just going to be spending all their time farming NPCs to try and make up for what they're lacking, the evolutions and so on. That's the pity with Garchomp. And lastly, Slowbro, of course. Now, Slowbro has its ups and its downs. It's a popular Pokemon, of course. It has some good moves, some good crowd control, but the biggest problem with Slowbro is, 1, he does no damage, and 2, his crowd control moves also control him. You're basically taking yourself as well as someone out of the picture. I'm talking about like telekinesis and its ult. for example. Telekinesis is really hard to hit sometimes too. But second of all, when you hit telekinesis, you're stunning somebody for a while, but you're also out of the picture yourself. You're also not able to do anything yourself. And that's the same thing with his ult, which is not useful. It doesn't give you that much of an advantage unless your team is all there. So they're the big downfalls for these last tier Pokemon, alright? What do you make of that? Now, this is my honest opinion. Also, Pikachu is still there in the acceptable. I just noticed you can't see it. This is my best, just from experience, from the nearly 2,000 games that I've played, my best grasp of experience that I've had is just to tell you, these are the Pokemon you should be able to go. I would recommend only picking anything from the acceptable and above, and try to encourage your friends or anyone who you're playing with to go these Pokemon in the top 2, and go them yourself. They're not hard to play. Lucario is hard to play, but the others down here are not really that hard to play. You'll be able to learn them very easily, and some of these in the acceptables are still hard to play, and that's partially why they're acceptable. If they were easy to play, for example, we could throw them up here. We could throw that's okay. We could throw you up here. I mean, these are easy and hard in different ways, all right? So you just have to make your own best judgment, guys. When you are playing the game yourselves and you have your experience, you know best what you're able to play best yourselves. More ideally than not, go the Pokemon that you are actually good at instead of the Pokemon you think you should go. That's important. But learn to play these. These are all alright. Greninja is actually hard to play as well, but he's definitely worth learning, alright? He's worth learning for sure. Venusaur is very easy to play, so if you're looking for a quick way out of Great League, all the way Ultra, you're looking at a quick way to Masters, Venusaur is the one to pick. Petal Dance and Giga Drain. You're going to be able to spam those moves pretty much all the time, and you're going to do a hell of a lot of damage doing it, and you're going to be extremely bulky. That's my recommendation, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tier list, and I hope it helps you in getting yourselves to Masters if you haven't already. And if you are in Masters, I hope it helps you growing in your rank too. Season 2 is going to be upon us as well. We'll see what updates come from here on out, but hopefully this list is rather long-lasting. I think it will be, considering there isn't much changes I would have made here from the last bunch of updates. Lucario's been the top ever since the game was released. Venusaur was not. Venusaur did get promoted, definitely promoted in the last update, but Greninja was always top tier here, Cinderace was top tier here, and Alolan was top tier, and Wiggly was top tier since all the last updates as well. I mean, Wiggly did get a big buff, and since then he was top tier. So that's it, folks. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. What's your favorite Pokemon to pick as well? Tell me, and I'll be seeing what's going on there. And hopefully, when you use this tier list, it does help you to improve, and you can let me know if it did or not. Thanks for watching, drop a sub, and do check out my twitch.tv/Blaines, where I stream Pokemon Unite every day. If you're looking for some high-level gameplay out there, do check it out. It's worth it, and it's a lot of fun as well. I'll see you guys around till the next video or stream. Till then, guys, bye!